Israel attacked Iran, and now the whole world is boiling. But the question remains, how did they do it? It's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Yo guys, welcome back to Shae Unfiltered, and today guys, we are going to dive into something major, something really serious. The Israel-Iran conflict just entered a new chapter, and whether you're pro-Israel or pro-Iran or you're neutral, you need to see this. Let's roll the clip.
On June 13, 2025, Israel launched a series of large-scale precision strikes targeting Iran's nuclear and military infrastructure. The operation was codenamed Rising Lion. After months of research, we've mapped out these secret Iranian nuclear sites, some hidden deep underground, others in plain sight. Each location reveals part of the bigger picture. But more importantly, we need to understand why Israel is so determined to halt Iran's nuclear enrichment, which according to Israeli intelligence, Iran's centrifuge may be just days away from producing a nuclear bomb. Not to forget the detailed process of how they are made. Iran has several nuclear programs, but let's take a look at some of the key underground facilities. First, we have Fordo Nuclear Program. It is an enrichment site built into a mountain, providing better protection against potential bombardment compared to the fuel enrichment plant. The second site is the Natanz nuclear facility. It houses several facilities, including 2 enrichment stations, the vast underground fuel enrichment plant, and the above-ground pilot fuel enrichment refinery. The third nuclear facility is Isfahan, the largest nuclear technology center located on the outskirts of the city. It includes the fuel plate fabrication plant and a uranium conversion facility capable of processing uranium into uranium hexafluoride, which is then fed into centrifuges. The fourth nuclear site is Kandab. Iran has a partially built heavy water research reactor here, originally called Arak, but now known as Kandab. Finally, we have Bushehr, Iran's only operational nuclear power plant located on the Gulf Coast. It uses Russian fuel, which is then returned to Russia once spent.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't Iran say they dropped their nuclear weapons program?
Today, after 2 years of negotiations, the United States, together with our international partners, has achieved something that decades of animosity has not. A comprehensive long-term deal with Iran that will prevent it from obtaining a nuclear weapon.
It uses Russian fuel, which is then returned to Russia once spent, thereby reducing the proliferation risk. Let's take a look at a simplified version of how Iran's nuclear extraction and enrichment process works. This is the uranium ore, and it is extracted using a drill that pulls the reamer up through the pilot hole, widening it. The broken ore then falls into what is known as an extraction chamber. Next, a bulldozer, operated remotely to keep the operator at a safe distance from falling rock hazards, picks up the uranium rock. Fast forward, the uranium is then condensed, ground, and placed into a centrifuge for further enrichment. Everyone is talking about centrifuge enrichment, but let's explore how it actually works. In this visualization, the green dots represent uranium-238 atoms, while the blue dots represent the concentration of uranium-235 atoms. This first batch is natural uranium, which contains only 0.7% of uranium-235. Here, in this image, we have 5% low-enriched uranium, which is used for commercial nuclear power plants. Finally, we have weapons-grade uranium, which contains 90% uranium-235. As you can see, almost all the uranium-238 has been removed, and it is replaced by uranium-235 representing the color blue. Let's show how this is extracted through super simplified animation. The centrifuge consists of a high-grade tube with a spinning motor at the bottom and a feeding tube at the top. Uranium is fed into the centrifuge as a gas called uranium hexafluoride. As the motor spins at high speed, the heavier uranium-238 is separated from the lighter uranium-235 using centrifugal force. The uranium-235 floats to the top and is collected at this section of the centrifuge, while the heavier uranium-238 in the color green falls to the bottom of the centrifuge and the enrichment process is complete. Let's take a look at how Israel uses the Air Force to strike nuclear targets, Iran's primary enrichment site, and missile production complexes. Although these routes may seem straightforward, they involve complex planning, including calculations for air refueling and coordinating attack aircraft to pass through Jordan, Syria, and Iraq. They also neutralized potential air defense threats in Syria and Iraq to ensure a safe return in case they were targeted. Israel's strategy was to attack Iran in 3 waves. The first wave targeted surface air-to-air sites, radar installations, and Iran's air defense headquarters in Tehran, Elam, and Khuzestan. The second wave focused on destroying ballistic missiles, and finally, the third wave targeted military manufacturing industries. To avoid Iranian air defenses, they used the ROX missiles, which allowed them to strike from positions closer to enemy targets without requiring jets to penetrate deep into Iranian territory. Surprisingly, the Iranian Bavar 373 air defense system performed better than expected. We'll also look into how this air defense missile works and the strength of the Iranian Air Force, all in the video ahead.
Wow. The way they precisely attacked them, the way they coordinated themselves, the way they were so very well coordinated. But how did it take Iran by surprise, like a thief in the night? Like, how did that happen? With all the security measures they take, how did they penetrate so easily when the warning signs were there? They were given 60 days to come to a deal, which they didn't. On the 61st day, Israel struck. I mean, they should have expected something.
Let's first look at Israel fighter jets used in the operations. The tip of the spears are the 5th generation F-35 fighter jets, S-16 air defense jets, and F-15 ground attack jets, which covered approximately 1,600 kilometers, translating to around 1,000 miles. While the weapons of choice were the Blue Arrow long-range supersonic missile and the ROX next-generation extended standoff air-to-surface missile. To cover such distances, air refueling tankers were used between flights. This measure was taken in case they needed to engage in a dogfight with Iranian fighter jets and also while returning from their mission. ROX is Israel's next-generation extended standoff air-to-surface ballistics missile. Israel's strike also took out General Hossein Salami, one of the country's most powerful and influential military commanders. It also allows the weapon to hit targets that have moved from their original positions. But in an area of high-threat situation, these bombs typically use a GPS-enabled inertial guidance system to guide them to the general target area, before switching to an imaging infrared seeker for the terminal stage of flight.
Crazy.
Destroying the targets with deep penetration or blast fragmentation as required. Surprisingly, the Bavar 373 and S-300 missiles successfully intercepted Israeli drones and some missiles. Let's take a quick look at the Bavar 373. This system uses Shae 4 missiles, which are housed in 2 rectangular launch canisters. It features a phased array radar system for tracking both aerodynamic targets and ballistic missiles over medium to long ranges. One of the radars used in the Bavar 373 is the Mirai 4, a phased array radar with a range of 450 kilometers, which Iran claims this system can simultaneously track up to 200 targets. The Israeli attack can be divided into 3 distinct phases: first, second, and third wave, each targeting critical components of Iran's military infrastructure.
When you talk about intelligence, these Israelis are something else. Absolutely. When it comes to the art of war, they are completely on a whole new level. Very small country, small nation, 10 million people, 8 million Jews, 2 million Arabs. But their impact is felt globally. I'm telling you, it's insane. This is not a movie, guys. This is not a movie. This is reality. This just happened a few days ago. Insane, mate.
The first wave focuses on disabling Iran's air defense systems. Tehran, Elam, and Khuzestan are some of the region-verified attacks also confirmed by Iran that were hit or partially damaged. Key targets include surface-to-air missile or SAM sites and radar installations, crucial for early detection and defense against aerial assaults. Iran's air defense headquarters confirmed the attacks happened, which aimed to cripple the nation's ability to track and respond to future incoming threats. While the second wave targets Iran's missile capabilities, specifically focusing on neutralizing both ballistic and hypersonic missile systems. At least 3 missile bases were attacked in a second round or second wave of Israeli strike. IDF drones also targeted the secretive Parchin military base in the outskirts of Tehran, and finally 1 drone made it through the Iranian air defense and hit the base while others were shot down. These strikes are designed to prevent Iran from launching retaliatory missile strikes. The third and final wave focuses on destroying key military barracks and manufacturing facilities essential to Iran's missile production and military logistics. Targets include the Qadiri Barracks and Hassan Khan Castle, a missile manufacturing and preparation center. The Sepah Air Force Logistics Center and Imam Ali Barracks are allegedly included in this phase to disrupt logistical support and command structures. Israel were trying to target these missiles bases like the Fatah-1 and Fatah-2 missiles. It was used for the first time and is one of Iran's advanced missile systems. What sets it apart from other ballistic missiles is its ability to accelerate outside the Earth's atmosphere, while its aerodynamic control surfaces enable steering to evade the famous Aero Missiles defense system made by Israel. Israel was also looking to strike these ground-launched ballistic missiles that targeted the IDF bases.
How do human beings just sit down and think of how to destroy other people? All these weapons of mass destruction. If only we just focus on doing good for the advancement of humanity, for the betterment of human life, rather than terrorizing people, rather than going to destroy civilizations, the world will be such a better place. Now they targeted Iran's nuclear sites to cripple them. Why? Because Iran said they want to wipe off Israel from the map. I mean, if my enemy tells me that, I'm going to believe them. Oh, I'm definitely going to believe them.
Israel also wants to dismantle. The Shahab-3 is the foundation for all of Iran's medium-range ballistic missiles and uses liquid propellant. Let's break this down into several parts. To fight against the F-16 and F-35 jets, the Iranians have the tip of the spear. It consists of American-made aircraft, around 64 numbers of F-4 Phantoms that Iran purchased during the Shah's regime. The F-4 Phantom is Iran's primary attack aircraft and is considered the backbone of the Iranian Air Force. In addition, Iran possesses around 40 numbers of F-14 Tomcats, also American-made, which still have the capability to pose a threat to the F-35. Iran also acquired approximately 30 MiG-29 multirole fighter jets from Russia, interestingly designed to counter the F-16. The second part of the air defense is the $800 million S-300 air defense system, which is capable of intercepting targets at a range of 120 kilometers that translates to about 75 miles. When launched on a ballistic trajectory, it can reach distances of up to 400 kilometers, that is around 250 miles.
What?
But they might have intercepted low-flying cruise missiles, otherwise it could have been a much larger destruction if not for these air defense systems.
What? The precision, the accuracy, that is insane. That is insane. Israel, I've said it before, Israel, when it comes to war, you don't play with Israel. People keep saying, why do Israel always have to be on the offense, right? But, I mean, the thing is, when you're surrounded by all your enemies, right, and your enemies are threatening you, especially when you see that they are acquiring nuclear power that will easily just wipe you off the face of the earth, even leave a crater. Yeah, leave a crater where your country was meant to be. You don't sit down and wait to be attacked. You don't joke around, you know. For me, if I know my enemy is going to come strike me, I'm like, sure, they're going to strike me. You think I'm just going to sit down and wait? When your enemy are going to chase you wherever you go, you want to sit down and wait? What are you going to do? You have to protect yourself. You have every right to defend yourself. People say this is not self-defense. But I mean, after seeing all those threats, I'm telling you, Israel believe they had to do what they had to do. Watching this, it looks like a movie. Absolutely looks like one of those probably James Bond movies, one of those Mission Impossible movies. But no, this is real life. And it just happened. It just happened. Unlike the 6-Day War that happened years and years ago, we literally lived through this. Now the question people are asking is, why did Israel attack Iran? I mean, that's not even a question for anyone to ask, because Iran have clearly said it. They want to wipe Israel off the face of the earth. Why did Iran hate Israel? There are many reasons, but I'm going to list just a few of them. 1. They frame Israel as an illegitimate Zionist entity. 2. As a Western colonialist, an occupier of Islam's third holiest site. Also, because of their support for the Palestinian cause. So guys, let me know what you think about this in the comment section. Was Iran bluffing? Was Israel justified? Or are we sleepwalking into something much more worse? It's been your boy Shae, the one and only. I'm going to catch you in the next video. Peace. Oh, love you more than words can say. 'Cause you are me. Oh, you are the light that shine in my way. 'Cause you are me. Oh.